Now, a few years ago, I was sat in the audience of this rather large lecture theatre with some fairly senior professionals. We were all very interested to see what this junior analyst who was presenting had to say. Let's call him Jack. Most of the professionals in the audience were native English speakers, but not all. The junior analyst, Jack, was very well liked in this particular industry, had a good track record of successful projects, and was on track for promotion. I think it was widely understood that this presentation on some fairly juicy insights into the competitors was going to be Jack's opportunity to realise his promotion. So the presentation started, perhaps a little too energetically for some in the room it seemed, but Jack could be forgiven for his nerves I think, as there were some pretty heavy hitters in the room in terms of leadership. Or perhaps he could have been slightly over-caffeinated from the slugs of coffee he was taking from his enormous coffee cup sat on the lectern. Who knows, but I thought he was doing a remarkable job given the circumstances. His fluency was good, his knowledge of specific vocabulary was excellent actually, and his pronunciation in this large echoey space was actually not bad at all. For all intents and purposes, he was putting in a solid performance. That was until his laptop started to malfunction halfway through his presentation. And this is when the cracks in Jack's business English started to appear. Gradually at first, but then as the presentation began to grind to a halt, Jack's communication style started to go from his professional and indirect approach to increasingly direct and uncomfortable. Jack was beginning to dig himself into a hole through his unintentional use of direct language in front of just about everybody that mattered to his career and promotion. So, what did Jack say that was so bad? How did the audience take it? And could this slowly evolving car crash be recovered? Stay tuned because in today's episode, titled Being Direct Without Being Rude, we're going to unpack and answer all of these questions. We're going to take that direct language and soften it so that it sounds more professional and is more acceptable to certain audiences in certain situations. So if you feel, or if you've ever been told, that your style of communication can be too direct, then this episode is for you. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Business English Podcast, helping professionals communicate more effectively, more confidently, and with impact. With your host, Rob, from Energetic English. Let's get down to business. So today we're diving into a vital aspect of professional communication. How to express directness without crossing the line into rudeness. Unlike Jack, but we'll get back to him a little bit later on. Now, in the world of business, where every word counts, mastering this can be your ticket to more fruitful interactions and stronger relationships. Have you ever left a meeting feeling unsettled because someone's comments came off as too harsh? Or perhaps you've been on the other side, worrying if your words might have been too blunt. Well, you're not alone, and today's episode is all about navigating these waters with grace and efficiency. Let's start by understanding why tone and choice of language are so pivotal. In business, especially in an international context with non-native speakers, the directness of your speech can significantly impact how your message is received. This isn't just about politeness, it's about effectiveness. Being too direct can sometimes overshadow your intentions, leading to misunderstandings or even conflicts. On the other hand, softening your language appropriately can open doors to better collaboration and understanding. Now, why do these changes matter? Because in business, how you say something can be just as important as what you say. It's about building an environment where ideas can flow freely and everyone feels respected and valued. As we continue with today's episode, keep thinking about how these nuanced changes can impact your daily interactions. What scenarios do you find challenging when trying to soften your language? Keep these in mind as we explore more alternatives in our next section. In our last segment, we discussed the importance of softening our language in professional settings. Now, let's dive into some specific scenarios where this skill can really make a difference. We'll go over each situation, the commonly used direct phrase, and a better alternative to use instead. Remember, it's not just about being polite, it's about being effective and professional. Okay, first up, requesting a pause. Imagine you're in a meeting and need a moment to think or catch up on your notes. Saying wait can disrupt the flow and feel quite abrupt, to be quite honest. Instead, try, could you give me a moment please? Or would you mind holding on for a second? These phrases maintain the momentum of the conversation while showing respect for everyone's time. Think about how much smoother your meetings might go with this simple adjustment. Next, let's talk about clarifying misunderstandings, a classic. We've all been there. Someone says something and you just didn't catch it. Instead of a curt "what?", opt for a "pardon me" or "pardon, could you repeat that?" or "sorry I missed that, could you say it again?" This approach not only avoids potential embarrassment for others, but also it makes it clear that you're engaged and value what the other person is saying. Moving on, let's talk about interrupting or entering a discussion. It can be tricky to get a word in during a lively discussion. I think we've all been in that situation. So rather than cutting in with "let me talk," a more gentle approach would be "may I add something here?" or "if I could just interject for a moment." These introductions signal your respect for the ongoing conversation and your desire to contribute constructively. Now, let's take a look at disagreeing with a point. This is another common challenge. It's easy to say "that's wrong," but that can shut down dialogue. Instead, try "I see it differently," or "I'm not sure I agree. Can we explore this further?" This way, you're opening up the conversation for a more in-depth discussion, which can lead to better, more thoughtful decisions. Now, when it comes to giving feedback, the stakes are high and emotions can be too. Instead of bluntly stating "this is bad," frame it as "I think there's room for improvement here. What if we tried?" This not only softens the impact, but also encourages a proactive approach to solving the issue. And now for a situation I believe we've all been in, which is asking for help. So this can also be softened. Replace "help me" with "could you assist me with this when you have a moment?" Or "I'd appreciate your help with this." It shows that you respect the other person's time and workload, which can make them more inclined to assist you. And what about declining an offer or request? This often requires tact, especially if you want to maintain good relations. So instead of a flat "no," try "I appreciate the offer, but I'll have to pass this time," or "thank you, but I'm not able to commit to that right now." These phrases keep the door open to future opportunities. So in terms of task delegation and when prompting someone, instead of "do it now," which can seem quite commanding and harsh, a softer approach would be "when you have a moment, could you please?" or "could this be a priority for today?" This language respects the autonomy of your colleagues while clearly communicating your needs. And so when closing a conversation or meeting, instead of "we're done," a more inclusive closure might be "I think we've covered everything we need to. Thank you everyone for your contributions." This acknowledges the efforts of the group and ends the meeting on a positive note. And lastly, when dealing with sensitive issues like requesting confidential information, instead of "send me that information," opt for "could you please share the details at your earliest convenience? I would appreciate your discretion." This phrase underscores the sensitivity of the information and your trust in the other person's professionalism. Now, we cover many more of these fantastic upgrades to potentially rude language within our premium members area, and also throughout the week with several of our power audios delivered straight into your inbox to keep your earballs sizzling with world-class business English techniques and phrases. Check out the link in the show notes to learn more. So, as you can see, tweaking our language even slightly can significantly enhance the tone and outcome of our interactions. Why not try incorporating some of these phrases into your next conversation at work? What difference do you think they might make? And that wraps up our segment on alternative phrasing for being direct without being rude in a professional scenario. Stay tuned because in our next section we'll recap and practice these phrases, so don't go anywhere. Now let's take a moment to practice and recap the phrases we've discussed today. This is your chance to solidify these new tools in your communication toolkit. Let's start with a quick review. I'll say a direct phrase and I'd like you to respond with the softened version. Remember, the goal is to make these responses second nature in your daily professional interactions. Here we go. If you wanted to ask for a pause in a conversation or meeting, instead of saying wait, what could you say? Yes, that's right. Could you give me a moment, please? Or would you mind holding on for a second? Excellent work. Now, what if you didn't quite catch what someone said? Instead of a blunt what, how should you respond? Exactly. Pardon me, or pardon, could you repeat that? Or sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please? This approach shows that you're actively engaged and respectful of the speaker's words. Let's try another. When you need to interject in a discussion without sounding intrusive, instead of saying, let me talk, what's a more polished way to enter the conversation? Right, you might say, may I add something here? Or if I could just interject for a moment. This shows you value the ongoing discussion and your colleagues' insights. Moving on. Disagreements can often become contentious if not handled delicately. Instead of flatly stating, that's wrong, how should you phrase your disagreement to keep the dialogue open and constructive? Yes, I see it differently, or I'm not sure I agree. Can we explore this further? These phrases invite collaboration and deeper understanding. Giving feedback also requires finesse. Rather than saying, this is bad, which can be disheartening to be honest, how can we frame this more constructively? That's right. I think there's room for improvement here. What if we tried? This encourages positive change without discouraging the recipient. Asking for help is another scenario where phrasing can impact the response you receive. Instead of the direct, help me, how could you ask for assistance more politely? Perfect. Could you assist me with this when you have a moment? Or I'd appreciate your help with this. It shows consideration for the other person's time and responsibilities. And what about when you need to decline an offer or request? Instead of simply saying no, what are the more gracious alternatives here? Exactly. I appreciate the offer, but I'll have to pass this time. Or thank you, but I'm not able to commit to that right now. These phrases help maintain positive relationships even when you're saying no. Assigning tasks also requires tact. Instead of a demanding, do it now, what's a respectful way to prioritize tasks? Yes, when you have a moment, could you please? Or could this be a priority for today? This language is respectful and encourages cooperation. And finally, closing meetings or conversations can set the tone for future interactions. Instead of the abrupt, "we're done," how should you conclude to ensure everyone feels valued? That's right. I think we've covered everything we need to. Thank you everyone for your contributions. This is positive and appreciative. I hope this practice session has been helpful. Have you started to think about how you can apply these phrases in your next business interactions? Why not pick one or two phrases to focus on in the coming week and see how they affect the dynamics of your conversations? As we wrap up today's episode of the Business English Podcast, I want to thank you for dedicating your time to enhancing your communication skills with us. Today we've traversed through the delicate art of softening direct language in the workplace, transforming potentially abrasive interactions into opportunities for collaboration and mutual respect. Think about the last week at work. Where were instances where a conversation didn't go as well as you'd hoped? Could some of the phrases we've discussed today have made a difference? Often it's not just what we say, but how we say it that leaves a lasting impact. Adopting softer, more thoughtful language can change the entire tone of a conversation and lead to better outcomes and stronger professional relationships. And just before we go, a word on Jack, a man that was initially flustered by his malfunctioning tech and lost his way for a few moments with words like wait, what, and no. But after a brief intermission, he was able to return his communication style to his previous professional version and ultimately knocked his presentation out of the park, achieving his well-deserved promotion in the process. So let's challenge ourselves. Over the next week, pick one or two phrases from today's session, use them in your daily interactions, and observe the responses you receive. You might be surprised how small changes can significantly affect your communication dynamics. Are you ready to be more mindful and intentional with your words? Can you see how these tweaks to your language could open up new avenues for cooperation and understanding in your professional environment? Before we sign off, a quick reminder to subscribe to the Business English Podcast if you haven't already. This will ensure you don't miss out on any future episodes to help you navigate the complex world of business communication with confidence and poise. Thank you once again for joining me today. Until next time, keep practicing, keep refining your skills, and above all, keep it strictly business.
You have been listening to the Business English Podcast. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and we'll see you next time.